Fatherhood is often defined by a bloodline, a legacy passed down through DNA and birth certificates. But there is a different kind of fatherhood that isn't inherent, it's earned. It's the kind of fatherhood that starts not in a delivery room, but at a dinner table or a playground, with a man stepping into the life that is already in progress. Imagine entering a child's world where she's 8 years old. You aren't there for the first steps or the first words, but you are there for the first heartbreak, the middle school math tests, and the complex journey into womanhood. For 10 years, you show up, you lead with intentionality, you build a bridge of trust, brick by brick, without the legal title of dad to hold it all together. And then she turns 18. Today, we're exploring the profound beauty of adult adoption and what it truly means to be a chosen father. We're talking about the long game of intentionality, the legacy that is built when love is a choice, not a biological requirement. Our discussion with our guest will begin in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. This program is made possible by financial support from Smile Online Course and Books. Smile Online offers online courses for teens and young adults designed to help them master social and career skills. Subject matter includes customer service skills, job interviewing, electronic etiquette, and managing stress. More information is available at thefatherhoodchallenge.com. That's thefatherhoodchallenge.com.
Welcome to the Fatherhood Challenge, a movement to awaken and inspire fathers everywhere to take great pride in their role and to challenge society to understand how important fathers are to the stability and culture of their family's environment. Now, here's your host, Jonathan Guerrero.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and my co-host and son, Isaac.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fatherhood Challenge.
Our guest today has lived a decade-long journey defining fatherhood. He's a podcaster, speaker, a leader, and intentional girl dad. Joining us to share his heart and his story is Enrique Acosta Gonzalez. Enrique, welcome to the Fatherhood Challenge.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I love the topic and definitely one of my joys of life.
So, Enrique, most dads get a 9-month ramp up and then they slow build from infancy. You stepped into a life that was already 8 years in progress. What was the biggest hurdle in earning the trust of an 8-year-old girl who already had her own view of the world?
You know, what's interesting is that I did not go into my relationship with my wife ever thinking that I would be challenged in any way by my newfound, family. I treated every day as an opportunity to allow them to see who I was. And so I didn't think of any challenges, or I didn't really perceive any challenges, although there were some with the other girls, right? The other girls were much older, set in their ways, and definitely I had to prove something there. But with Karina, the 8-year-old you're speaking about, it was an instant connection that I just can't explain other than I was the right man for the right time for the right child.
Before the legal papers ever existed, how did you navigate the dad title? Did you claim it immediately, or did you decide to wait for her to be the one to hand it to you?
Yeah, the dad title was sort of like my first attempts at being this father figure. I let everything develop as it would, kind of like the leader stepping into a new organization with a new team. And, you have your go-getters and those that lag behind. You introduce yourself. You allow your day-to-day to speak for who you are. You allow for questions to arise, and, you answer in conversation. But I never did, push the dad title or anything like that. Now, Karina was very warmed up to the fact that this individual's coming in this role. And not at first, but very short in time, she was probably the first of the children to refer to me as dad.
You talk frequently about being an intentional girl dad. What was one specific intentional habit you started during those first few years that signaled to her, I'm not just here, I'm here for you?
Yeah, that was very easy because I'm loving in nature and I like to, splurge on my kids, right? So I took opportunities to help them explore things in their life that they had never seen before. I remember specifically taking her one afternoon to the Hello Kitty store down in downtown New York in Manhattan. And, this is like the Disney parks for little girls, and introduced her to Hello Kitty and, shopping and going without question. If you desired one thing, it was not too much to acquire and give. And so I think that our first shopping spree, if you would, was where I really got to see the kid come out and without worry, without concern, and just be her. And I think that me doing so also indicated to her that I would be willing to accept her for her and not bring in any requirements or whatever. And we both could be just us.
What I think is interesting out of that story is that you were purposeful about entering into her world. And that's not always comfortable for dads to do, especially for girl dads, but you didn't care. You were more interested in connecting with her. And if you had to get into her world and go into a really girly store to do that, to connect with her heart, you were man enough to do that. And that's what I really define as manhood. It takes a real man and a real father to be more interested in connecting with his daughter's heart, to go where she wants to go and to go into her world to connect with her. So I have so much respect for that.
No, I appreciate that. And, there's a lot of, I teach leadership. I do leadership. And far be it from me to go to an organization and say that I will teach you how to lead people you don't know if I can't do that myself in my own home. And it's very important, not just for those dads out there that have girls, but, just leaders in general, to understand that the people that you have under your care are just waiting for someone to come and care enough about them first. And then, incorporate that mission. Obviously, with work is different, but even in family life, to incorporate the family into that one singular desire and bring it all together. And that's really what makes family.
And I would just like to point out one more thing. And that is, like, we've just talked about the softer side of you, the way you connected with your daughter. I just want to make it very clear to dads listening in the audience that you're not a wuss. You're a veteran. You could probably kill me about 4 or 5 different ways before you've even picked up a pistol. So you're not a wuss by a long shot. So if you are capable of connecting with your daughter on that level, on an emotional level, and going into her world, any dad can.
That's correct.
At 18, she was legally an adult. She could have walked any path, but she chose to ask you to be her legal father. Can you walk us through that moment? Where were you? What was the first thought that hit your heart?
Yeah, that was, just thinking about that makes me emotional. So yes, we're downstairs in the kitchen area and we were just talking, and then she sprung, as she often does, just sprung the question out of pure thin air, midstream conversation. And, what do you think about that? This is an honor that is beyond description. Anyone, male and female, can get together and create a child. But you have to truly invest your trust, your love, and everything you have in inviting someone to take a spot like a father and a mother. An adult adoption, which is what it is something that is bestowed on you. And I'm a man of many awards and man of many accolades, but none top this one. You're chosen. You're chosen for whatever reasons God ordained, and this one individual has decided to write off others that are there and allow you to carry this position in their life, and on top of that, allow themselves to carry your name. And it was just touching. It's still touching. And every time I think about it, how lucky and blessed am I to be able to live this life and experience that. You're so humbled that God would do so. I'm so humbled that Karina would do so. And so, wow, you bring up a good point. I'm doubly blessed in that regard to be living a life of being chosen, and that kind of makes me feel good.
Yeah,
For sure, for sure.
it makes me feel good too.
I zeroed in on what you said earlier. Use the exact words, God ordained. And immediately the first thought that popped in my head is the image of God. Scripture says that even while we were yet sinning, Christ or Jesus first loved us. That's exactly what you're doing. You're modeling the image of God. God loved us first. Why do we love him? Because he first loved us. And that's a reoccurring theme over and over and over. And you're repeating that in the relationship with your daughter. You first loved her. And through that journey, she learned to love you back. And then she chose you in return. And that's exactly how it works with us and God. So I find that fascinating.
Well, we're called to imitate the way God deals with us. And, to me, it's just a proof that I'm doing that, a proof that he is true to his word to me, that, if I focused on him, he'll take care of the rest. And part of that is allowing that light to attract. If we're repelling as believers, and I could tell you there are many believers that are repelling their children in their own home, which is a shame. But if we're truly reflections of what God has done in us to this world, we will attract. And I'm just thankful and grateful that my effort in that regard is bearing fruit, especially in my home. And just grateful that I'm able to live this life out doing so.
Enrique Acosta Gonzalez is a name with heritage. When you saw your last name next to hers on those official adoption documents, what did that represent for your family's legacy moving forward?
Well, I mean, it just blows. Well, first of all, it blows me away that we can do so, right? That we can literally erase people from our history there. But more so that this is a line in her heritage that she could anchor in. She what she did was she anchored herself in the best family situation that she saw. And if you ask me, there's a lot of people that should be doing so. But for us and our family, what a great addition to have her one of the nodes in this chain, right? One of the links in this Acosta Gonzalez family. She is a blessing in every regard. To have her part of the lineage of my family line, it's just a great honor. She will do great. She has now she has the entire chain behind her, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to see how far she goes, not just for the sake of the family line, but with the support that she now has.
Raising a daughter requires a specific kind of softness and strength. What is the most important lesson she has taught you about what it means to be a man?
The most important lesson was don't judge. Now, as soft as I was, I am a faith uh, faith believing man, Bible believing man, and children will always pose an opportunity for you to be a judge. And there was this one time she made a decision, and obviously I did not agree with the way she was deciding, and I judged, and I had the opportunity to do so. Did I need to? I don't think that I needed to. Um, what happened after that was just we had a discussion after I came to, right? After I came to my senses. God reserves judgment, and that will come at the end, right? You will have to answer for all that you do, but he doesn't lead with judgment. That's a thing that comes, once all is said and done. And we forget as believers that's one aspect of God that we often leave as a byproduct or by the wayside. We must lead. We must live without judgment. That is for Him and Him alone. What we must do is take all of our learning, the inclinations that the Holy Spirit gives us, and the ability to discern, and take all of that and guide. That's what He does. He guides us. And once I went from judgment to guiding, that all worked out. And so if I learned anything from our relationship, is that judgment has to be reserved for God and not for us to wield it, right?
How important is eye contact to really connecting and bonding with your daughter?
Yeah, no eye contact, no connection. I'll tell you that right now. It is so important, even with my daughter, with anyone in my household. If they don't have my eyes fixed on them, they do not have my mind. They do not have my ears, right? And so one of the things that you have to be intentional about is, especially in the age of digital, the toys we have, the applications we have, those things need to be put down and aside. That is probably the first sign that you are intentional about that person at that moment. And once that's done, eye contact is assurance that you are at least making the intention, the effort to listen, to understand, to be there present. And a matter of fact, my word of the year is presence. If there's anything that my family needs, if there's anything that Kari needs, is my presence. That will allow her to, even if she doesn't need it, to know that when she does, I'll be there ready.
What I think is interesting is that you navigated the teen years, her teen years, and still arrived at 18 with her asking you to be her father. And for most dads, like the teenage years are a minefield. During the messy moments in between age 13 and 17, how did you keep your intentionality from feeling like pressure so she felt safe enough to ask for adoption at 18?
Yeah, I won't tell you that those years were, peaceful without, turmoil, without ups and downs. I think that she felt safe enough to understand that because that judgment period was in that period, that I had the best of intention, even though my delivery was flawed, right? She understood that although I wanted to allow her to explore autonomy, there was, some warning signs and some limitations that I was not willing to allow her to cross. But the most important thing, I think, was that I allowed her to explore it without beating her down. And we, as parents, at times, for the sake of safety, instead of just extending a hand to bring our children over, what we do is we beat them, and we beat them from afar, even to the point where they just rather stay on the other side. And, I did not do that. What I did was painful, but she still saw my heart in it. And we were able to, scave that period. And then she eventually decided that this was the best thing for her. Definitely an honor for me, and asked. And yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think there's anything I truly could have done to receive such a gift. This was all generated from her heart. She's a loving person, and she just, got to this decision point, and I'm blessed for the ask and the vote of confidence.
If there was a man listening right now who has just entered a young girl's life as stepdad, based on your 10-year journey of adoption, what is that golden point advice that you would give him?
I would say work on you. Work on you. Your relationship with your children is going to develop, but it won't get better unless you get better. You have to work out your kinks and your shortfalls. Work it out with the Lord, right? That's an easier way.
For sure.
But if you're on your own and you're not a believer, work on you. Work on you, because what happens is that your children will look at you 24/7. They will look at you. They will hear you. They will take cues from you. They will learn from you. They will learn to love, and they will learn to despise because of you. And if you are not the best man for yourself, you cannot be the best man for that daughter, and you definitely cannot be the best man for that son. And so that would be my advice. Work on you, and be you. Be you with these children, so that they know who they're dealing with at all times. The worst thing is to be one thing in the morning and one thing when you come back home, and be two different people. We all know that house divided among itself cannot stand, and neither can you. So that would be my advice.
Looking back at the 8-year-old girl and then looking at the 18-year-old woman who chose you, what has being her father taught you and about the way God loves us?
What I've learned is that we are all children. We are all children. And whether you're in a parent position or you're in a child position, we're all children of God. And if I had not treated her as such, I probably would not be having this conversation. It would be different. But I chose to treat her as a child of God first, which adds a little element there of fear of messing up. But it also keeps you in check as a human, right? As a human father and mother. You know what difference? I mean, she's grown into to being a wonderful human being. She is in school for being a nurse now. Things have changed in that regard. She's always wanted to be, but now she is. And in a solid relationship. It looks like this will flourish into something more solid, and I'm happy for her. Just the growth has been exponential, but letting her grow into the woman that she knows she can be, it's been one of the privileges that I've had. And yeah, a big difference from the little girl I took to the Hello Kitty store and the young adult. Well, she's 29 now, but the adult that I get to sit down and watch, mini series with. It's been a joy to watch that journey unfold and develop throughout the years.
Enrique, we've heard your side of the story here on the Fatherhood Challenge, but I know your daughter shared her side of the story on the Better Call Daddy show, co-hosted by Rena Friedman Watts, a good friend of both of ours. If anyone wants to hear her side of the story, I'm going to link it in the episode description. So if you go to thefatherhoodchallenge.com, that's thefatherhoodchallenge.com. If you go to this episode and you're looking for the episode called The Girl Dad Blueprint, The Girl Dad Blueprint, then look right below the episode description. I'll have the interview with your daughter linked right there for the audience's convenience.
As we close, what is your challenge to dads listening now?
My challenge to dads would be present. Be present. Put down the phone. Get away from the computer. Dedicate some time to your children intentionally. Write it down in an appointment book if you need to. But this world is chaotic. They need guidance, and we need each other. And so just be present, if anything.
Very wise words of wisdom and a good place to wrap up. Enrique, thank you so much for being on the Fatherhood Challenge, sharing your story and your wisdom with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And personally, I've also learned a lot from this too.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Fatherhood Challenge. If you would like to contact us, listen to other episodes, find any resource mentioned in this program, or find out more information about the Fatherhood Challenge, please visit thefatherhoodchallenge.com. That's thefatherhoodchallenge.com.